We did Hoenn, we did Kanto, now it's time for Johto. Can Ash's Johto team beat Pokemon Heart Gold? We're gonna find out in our toughest challenge yet, as we play as Ash Ketchum from the Johto journeys. We spawn into the Johto region with, in my opinion, one of the coolest early gen hero sprites. And of course, our mom wants to talk to us. We run into our girlfriend Lyra and her cute Azurill. Or is it a Meryl? I don't really know. But anyways, we're given a task by Professor Elm. We get to pick our first Pokemon. Now in the Johto journeys, Ash had all 3 Johto starters. He didn't fully evolve any of them, but he had all 3. In this playthrough, however, we're only able to pick 1. I decided to randomly select the Johto starter Ash gets, and we ended up on Chikorita, the worst starter of all time. But hey, it's the only one Ash gets to the second stage of its evolution during the Johto journeys. And now we're on our way to pick up an egg. After picking up the egg from Mr. Pokemon's house, we run into this red-haired dude. And he challenges us to a battle. He stole a Cyndaquil from Professor Elm's lab. And I just found out, before you ID him, the game just calls it Passerby Boy. Anyways, despite a type disadvantage, our Chikorita beats Cyndaquil. Probably because we have 2 levels over Cyndaquil anyways. And yes, we are happy that we won. After beating him, we steal his ID to take a look at his real name, so we can snake him to the cops. His ID said his name was Paul. And as a good snitch, I let the police know, even though they literally do nothing about this. We also give the egg to Professor Elm and make our way to Violet City to challenge the first gym leader, who we have a type disadvantage against. I also decide to solve this puzzle because I mean, why not? And now we're gonna attempt to catch our second Pokemon. As everyone famously knows, Ash had a shiny Noctowl on his team. So we're gonna be having a shiny Hoot Hoot. And we accidentally knock it out with Tackle. Oops. This time around we use Poison Powder and throw a Pokeball at it, and we catch our second team member. We level up our Golden Boy and challenge the Grand Elder at the Sprout Tower. I wonder where the Sprout Tower falls into Johto's mythology with the Burn and Bell Tower. Anyways, we knock out Bellsprout with Peck and use Tackle against his Hoot Hoot. We knock out his Hoot Hoot and his last Bellsprout, getting the win. Our Hoot Hoot also learned Uproar, which is going to be really important against this flying type gym. We just keep spamming Uproar against Pidgey, one-shotting his first Pokemon and trying to knock out his Pidgeotto. Unfortunately, Pidgeotto is too strong and knocks out our Hoot Hoot. I begin to think we're doomed because Chikorita is super weak to flying type moves, but it hangs on there and knocks out Pidgeotto with Tackle. Not only that, but Chikorita levels up to level 16, triggering its evolution into Bayleaf, just like Ash had in the anime. After collecting our first badge, we collect an egg from Professor Elm's henchman and make our way through the Union Cave and into Azalea Town. We eavesdrop this private conversation between Team Rocket and this bald man, and for some reason they make us go and tell this old dude. He offers some of his balls to us, but once we tell him about Team Rocket, he rushes over to the Slowpoke well. Naturally, as an adventurous 10-year-old we are, we follow the old man into the dangerous well as well. He claims that his back is broken, and he sends a kid to fight his battles, that too against an international evil organization, but we persist against the odds and beat Team Rocket. As a reward, he gives us some of his balls in our hands and tries to give us his number, but we don't take it. We go ahead and challenge Bugsy and lose again. So I decide it's time to evolve Hoot Hoot. We do some training in the tall grass and get ourselves a Noctowl. Our egg also hatches, but even a Noctowl isn't enough to beat Bugsy. So we try one more time. We're hoping that the AI doesn't go for U-turn while we set up with a Reflect. And then we're doubling down by going for a Poison Powder. Now it's time to switch out Bayleaf for our Noctowl and unleash our attacks on sight there. It barely survives and he uses a Super Potion. But our next pet crits and we're able to take out his top Pokemon. It's all pretty easy and smooth sailing from there, and we get our second gym badge after taking so many L's. We then get challenged by our rival Paul. We use Foresight to identify his Ghastly and hit it with an Uproar, and do the same with his Zubat. It confuses us, but Noctowl comes in clutch. We poison his Quilava with Bayleaf and set up a Reflect, and then continue to unleash Uproars, taking out his Quilava in the second turn. Afterwards, we find 2 Farfetches and get the HM cut. We also get Headbutt from the sky in the forest and teach it to our HM mule Rattata. We encounter this Apom, and since Ash had one in the anime, we catch it for the hell of it. We then encounter a female Heracross, which will be important for the next gym. We put it to sleep with Hypnosis and catch it in the Pokeball, and then head towards Goldenrod City to take on our biggest challenge yet. We take a Pokemon quiz, and we're about to pass, but we get the Professor Oak question wrong. I could have sworn he has a show on with Mary, but whatevs. After we pass, we impress Whitney enough for her to challenge us to a battle at her gym.
Later that night,
we challenge Whitney to a battle. with our newly caught Heracross. Now normally this battle is the hardest in the entire game, but for us, it was a clean sweep. Not even her milk tank could phase our Heracross. So for those of you who lose to Whitney, just catch a female Heracross and put it into daycare to level 19. After we made the gym leader cry, we grabbed our third gym badge, then head for Equatique City. It's here we battle our rival for what I think is the third time. We knock out his Ghastly with our Noctowl's Confusion and Brick Break his Magnemite. It takes 2 turns to knock out his Zubat and 3 to knock out his Quilava. After impressing Morty at the Burnt Tower, we challenge him at his gym. We knock out his first 2 Pokemon with ease, giving us a decent lead. After knocking out his Hauntor, we switch out Noctowl because it's been cursed, and our only attacking move against ghost types here is Aerial Ace. Unfortunately, Gengar takes out our Heracross, and after taking a critical hit, we knock out his Gengar. Then we knock out his final Pokemon, which is a Hauntor, giving us the W. After getting Surf, we go back to Azalea Town and catch a Slowpoke to learn Surf for us. After catching Slowpoke, we do battle with Ash's Lapras, which returns to him for a brief moment in the Johto region. After catching ourselves a Lapras, we journey across the Whirl Islands, eventually reaching Cianwood City, and do battle with Chuck. Because his Primate uses Double Team, we use Aerial Ace, a move that can't miss. It barely survives our second Aerial Ace and he goes for a Hyper Potion, but we get it the second time, knocking out his first Pokemon. Our strategy for Poliwrath is pretty simple. Use Poison Powder to poison it, and then use Noctowl's Confusion. Noctowl is about to go back to back with Gym W's. Poliwrath's in the red and it hits itself and then gets poisoned, winning Noctowl the match in the clutch, and giving us the 5th gym badge, and the ability to fly around. We decide to scale the lighthouse to figure out why there's no light at the top, and apparently there's a sick Ampharos, so naturally we're tasked with getting the medicine for it. After healing the Ampharos, we challenge the gym leader. She starts off with a Magnemite, and we send out our Heracross. We one-shot her first Magnemite and her second one. Heracross falls to Iron Tail though. That's where Ash's Lapras comes in clutch and hits a hard-hitting Surf, knocking out the Steelix. Later on we catch a Mankey because of how good it was during our Fire Red playthrough, and do battle with a red Gyarados. This Gyarados isn't shiny however. It's turned red because of Team Rocket messing around with the lake and was forced to evolve due to radio wave technology. See, it says it right there. Definitely not a shiny. After beating Gyarados, we have a talk with the Pokemon version of Batman, and we decide to investigate Team Rocket together. At the Team Rocket hideout, Paul suspiciously is there, like it's his dad's company or something. We go on to find Giovanni, or at least his body double, and do a double battle with Lance against Giovanni's theorized baby mama. Unfortunately, during this battle, I keep hitting Lance. I swear I'm not doing it on purpose. I just accidentally double tap and end up hitting Dragonite instead. Eventually, however, we do take the W, beating Giovanni's baby mama and possibly Paul's mom. After beating Team Rocket, we're ready to challenge the gym. I wonder what the gym leader was doing when Team Rocket was using his town as a base of operation. Anyways, Heracross is gonna have to carry our team during this fight. We knock out his first Pokemon with Heracross and one-shot his Dugong with Brick Break. His last mon remaining is Piloswine, but even that's not safe from our Heracross. Heracross takes a W all by itself. After beating the gym, we get a weird call from Professor Elm. Team Rocket has taken over the Goldenrod radio tower, and for some reason it's up to a 10-year-old to beat them back. So we catch ourselves a Krabby, put on a disguise, and head to Goldenrod. But Paul and his big mouth snitches on us. Eventually, however, we get the basement key, and in the basement none other than Paul challenges us. Unfortunately, I didn't remember this fight was gonna happen, so I didn't heal my team, and we lose 2 of our heavy hitters. Both Noctowl and Apom go down, leaving us with just 3 mons. We send out our Heracross and take out Golbat after struggling. With less than 50 HP left, I'm not too sure we'll win. To make matters even worse, Quilava has a type advantage, but we have close combat and don't let Quilava attack. Like LeBron James on the Cavs, Heracross is pulling through for us, sweeping through Paul's team. We send out Bayleaf, but it gets beat, so it's down to Heracross alone. And like the MVP he is, he takes out Hauntor, and our close combat one-shots Paul Sneasel, winning us the match, and Heracross definitely came in clutch. Thanks a lot for weakening our team in the middle of our battle against an evil organization, Paul. After getting the key card from the director of the radio tower, we challenge Archer, who's like the CEO of Team Rocket. I remember this fight being much harder, but we easily sweep through his team, finally freeing the radio tower of Team Rocket and putting an end to their second coming. Noctowl also learned Zen Headbutt. We replace Confusion with Zen Headbutt and take our prize, the Rainbow Wing. During a quick training session, our Krabby levels up and evolves into a Kingler. Then we challenge Claire to a gym battle. Our A-Palm almost takes out her Gyarados, but gets knocked out to Dragon Pulse. We send our Heracross in to take the W over Gyarados. She of course heals. We go for Aerial Ace, and 3 Brick Breaks later, we knock out her Gyarados. Noctowl unfortunately loses to Dragonair, so we bring our Heracross for a quick Aerial Ace. Bayleaf gets sent out against her other Dragonair, and quickly gets knocked out. We manage to poison it, but it sheds its skin, which leads us to rely on Heracross for a third time. One close combat later, we knock out her second Dragonair. Her Kingdra comes and knocks out her Kingler with 1 Hydro Pump, and Heracross uses a close combat to knock out her Kingdra and win our 8th and final badge. After getting beat, Claire refuses to give us our gym badge and tells us to pull up to the Dragon's Den. There we take a quick quiz, and once we pass it, we get the Rising badge. We come back to the Dragon's Den to get a free Dratini, since Ash did technically have one later on in the anime. Then we go and get the Master Ball from Professor Elm and go to the Bell Tower. It's here we have a meeting with Destiny and battle the legendary Ho-Oh. Oh no, I forgot to get the Kimono girls. I don't know why I always do this in every single playthrough. We catch ourselves a Gligar and challenge the Kimono girls to a battle. Now this is a forced back-to-back 5 battles. We knock out Umbreon with close combat, take out Espeon with Shadow Claw and an Aerial Ace, take out Flareon with Surf, Jolteon outspeeds Heracross and knocks it out, and Gligar completely trolls Jolteon. And eventually, Gligar takes out Jolteon, and our Noctowl takes out Vaporeon. After getting the Kimono girls from their strip club, we climb the Bell Tower once again. They do a dance for us and Ho-Oh reaches, and we run away from the Ho-Oh battle because we're unable to catch it. Afterwards, we're told that we turned our back on Ho-Oh and it won't be coming back. And finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. We hop the border from Johto to Kanto and become an illegal alien. I think these 2 rocks are the border between Kanto and Johto, and we get guarded by this border guard. In the Victory Road, we catch ourselves a Donphan, and for the first time ever, Paul beats us. I'm not gonna go into the details of it, just know his Typhlosion beats our whole team. We do some more training for our team and evolve Dratini into a Dragonair and challenge Paul for a second time. This time we have to avoid Heracross getting paralyzed at all costs, as that's our Achilles heel. We knock out his Sneasel and his Golbat, but now have to be very careful as Heracross's health is in the yellow. We one-shot Kadabra with Shadow Claw. Kingler fails to take out Typhlosion, so we make a calculated risk and use close combat and take out Typhlosion as well, and have Noctowl take out his Hauntor with Zen Headbutt and use close combat on his Magneton, ensuring a one-shot knockout and winning ourselves the match. And now we can finally make our way to the Indigo Plateau, but we gotta do some training first. After doing some training, we make our way to fight Will, first Elite Four on our list. We knock out his first Satu, but his second one took us a long time and knocked out 3 of our Pokemon before we could knock it out. We also knocked out Jinx, but his Slowbro knocked out our Heracross, and our Donphan managed a clutch shot and knocked out his Slowbro, but at the end we were easily beaten by Executor. After doing some super grinding with our team, we challenge Will for a second time. And although we struggle and lose both Heracross and Dragonair eventually, our team does pull through and help us take the W over Will, giving us the first win against the Elite Four. Our next battle is against a familiar face, Koga, the former gym leader turned Elite Four. We beat his Ariados, struggled against his Muck but eventually took the W, and beat back his Venamont. I also took out his Crobat. Unfortunately, he uses a full restore on Fortress right before I'm about to knock him out, and Kingler goes down. Making a calculated risk, I send out Heracross even though it has 3% health, and use close combat on Fortress to win the match. And to boot, Heracross doesn't get attacked by poison. Our next test is with Bruno. If you guys don't remember Bruno, he was in Fire Red too. And not gonna lie, there he gave us some difficulty. We hit his Hitmontop with Aerial Ace and it goes for Dig, but we completely troll him and switch out to Noctowl, evading his attack. Then we air slash his Hitmontop. He hits us with Thunder Punch and takes priority with Bullet Punch and knocks us out. Heracross takes some revenge and his Hitmonlee barely stays in and hits us with a Blaze Kick and knocks us out. Bayleaf poisons him and he crashes out. Once again, Donphan comes in clutch and knocks out Machamp, and Kingler knocks out the Onix, winning us our 3rd Elite Four match. Our next fight is with a Karen. Through confusion, Heracross brings itself into the red zone, knocks out her Umbreon. Karen uses a full restore and gets a critical hit on us and knocks out our Dragonair. Then we knock out her Murkrow, her Vileplume, her Gengar gives us some trouble then switches out, but we knock out her Houndoom too, and finally knock out our Gengar as well, finishing off the Elite Four and advancing to the champion. It's finally time to test our team against the best in the region. Can we beat him or are we gonna get crushed? Long story short, we get crushed. Our first defeat against the champion in the series we're making. Our second run was even more brutal. We got frozen, then miraculously thawed out and almost one-shot his Gyarados. Almost. He went for a full restore And we thundered again with extreme speed. We hit his Dragonite with a super effective Blizzard and knocked it out with an Aerial Ace. We surfed away his Charizard and managed to poison his Dragonite with Bayleaf. His Dragonite then missed a Blizzard and fell to our Dragonaire's Dragon Rush. The Dragonite then went on a rampage with Outrage and kept hitting itself when it was confused, and we took advantage with Blizzard. Sadly, we missed a clutch Blizzard and lost to Fire Blast. Heracross came in clutch though with Shadow Claw. At the end, it was our Heracross against his Aerodactyl. We were one knockout away from our championship and finally conquering the Johto region. We went for a full restore and won the match. Just kidding, I'd never use healing items in the middle of a battle. We got blacked out twice now. This right here is our 4th attempt against Lance. We can't possibly win. I mean, look at our team so far. Our team is high level. Everyone is at least level 55 and still we're catching L's like no tomorrow. It's time to give up and drown in despair. Beating Lance is literally impossible. Even with level 55 Pokemon, even with 2 technically illegal Pokemon from Donphan and Dragonair, we still can't win. After our devastating defeat, we go to Cherry Grove City and release all the Pokemon we caught at the very first Pokemon Center we went to. But for some reason, Knot Towel refused to give up on us. It refused to leave us alone. Could it be because it has an HM? Most likely not, as Kingler with Surf happily left us after we released it. We released all our other Pokemon as well, and also said goodbye to our ace, Heracross. Even our starter left our side, as we said bye to Bayleaf. But for some reason, Knot Towel didn't want to leave us. Afterwards, we had a talk with Professor Elm, our childhood friend and girl Lyra, and even our mom, who told us we have no money. We even went to Mr. Pokemon for advice. At the end, we decided to go back to our room where we first spawned into this game and go to sleep. Arceus gives us all our Pokemon back and evolves our Dragonair into Dragonite. Just kidding, we just grinded up until all our Pokemon were at least level 60 and our Dragonite learned Outrage. I know that's a bit extreme, but there's no other possible way we can beat this guy. He sends out a Nice Fang and we hit Gyarados with a Thunder, putting an end to Lance's first Pokemon. We then unleash our Outrage against his Dragonites, one-shotting them both. Then our Kingler tanks a Thunder Fang and Crab hammers Aerodactyl into extinction. Our Dragonite unleashes an Outrage against his Dragonite, and we one-shot his final Dragonite. His last Mon is Charizard. We taught Donphan Rock Tomb, and we one-shot the Zard. And we finally put an end to Lance's reign of champion. I'm not even happy about this, guys. We had to crazily over-level our Pokemon. There's no reason why our Dragonite has to be level 65 to beat Lance's level 48 Pokemon, okay? Ash's Johto team just sucks. And I know we didn't use his full Johto team, like with Pikachu, Totodile, and Cyndaquil and stuff, but most likely even with them, we would have probably lost. I would still put his Johto team above his Hoenn team, just because we had access to his full Hoenn team and kinda struggled. I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have struggled as badly with Totodile, Cyndaquil, and Pikachu. Anyways, this has to be one of the worst runs of Ash ever. Even using 2 illegal mons like Dragonite, Donphan, which he technically didn't have when he challenged the Johto League, we still struggled so badly against Lance. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think. This was just our worst run yet. I had to spend so much time over leveling our Pokemon, and I'm not happy about it. In Fire Red, I think only our Charizard was level 63 and everyone else was mid 50s, and Lapras and Dragonair were still level 40. So yeah, we definitely sucked at this run. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about Ash's Johto team. I always knew that we would struggle because we struggled against Bugsy and Faulkner, but seeing how Heracross swept the middle part of the game, beating back Whitney, Knot Towel beating back Chuck and Morty, and Heracross beating back Pierce and Jasmine, I wouldn't imagine us struggling this bad against Lance. We literally beat the Elite Four on our first run against them. Well, actually, it was our second run against them because we did lose to Will that one time. But yeah, the amount of L's we took against Lance were crazy. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
One eternity later.